Thank you so much, Alice. Yes, I was muted. Thank you for reminding me that. Yes, now I think you all can hear me, right? Okay. So let's do a quick review. And we learned the do while loop in last lesson. And then we learned the for loop. The for loop is useful when you know how many loops you need to loop through. So it requires three statements. The first one is to initialize the counter, and then the second one is actually to check if the counter is exceeds the limit. And the third one is to change the counter, otherwise it's going to be a infinity loop. And then the third loop we learned in last lesson is the for each loop is exclusively used to loop through all elements in an array. We will learn array later in this class. So when you have array, you use the for, even though it's in some programming language it says for each, but in Java it's still for, but inside here it's different from the for loop. This is like you declare a local variable and go through every element of the array and then copy the value over and then you print out. Okay. And the quizzes. Let's do this together. If you have tried, and that'd be great. And so you can compare the answers with what we have here. So the first one, use a do while loop to print numbers from 1 to 10. So 1 to 10. So we want to first thing we want to initialize the variable or the counter to 1, and say do while. So instead of do, check this thing first, we move that here. So let's say do, then the print out. Actually, we should get rid of that. Here, get rid of that. Oops. Something wrong here. Delete that. So we do, let me get rid of one more line. Delete, that should be fine. So we print out 1, do, and print out 1, and then we increase it. And then if it's, and check if it's less than or equal to 10, because we want print number between from 1 to 10, including both 1 and 10. So start with 1 and end with 10, semicolon here. And I think that should do it. Let's give it a try. Yeah, so we print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10. So this is the do while loop. Okay. Remember that step is important. Okay, number 2, use a for loop to print all up numbers between 1 and 10. So that's going to be a for loop, and delete everything. Just say for integer. It doesn't have to be I. You can use K, or you can use a count, whatever. So you can use any variable as long as it is a legal variable name or ID identifier. So start with 1 and counter less than 10. And I, oh no, not I, count equal to count, because odd, so we want to add 2. So if we find one odd number, then add 2 is going to be the next odd number. If you add 1, that's going to be the next even number. So that loop, and does it print out? Print out. What's that? Print out. That's the wrong thing. I picked the wrong function. When no system print line. Oh, come on, something wrong. System out. Oh, it's interesting. Count. So let's see what happens. Just run it. Oh yeah. So fine. The first one is the odd number. Next one. So 1, 3, 5, 9, 7, 9. Yeah. Okay. So what if we say someone say print all the odd numbers between 1 and 100? Then you just change that limit, and then of course all the odd numbers between 1 and 100. Okay. And you say, oh, print all the even numbers. Let's say not including 0. Let's say start with 2, the first even number, and we should have all the numbers printed out. Oh, not what happened? Didn't click it wrong? Oh, it's printed. I need to scroll down. Yeah, it's printed. Yes. I need to go up a little bit. Yeah. So we print all the even numbers. Not including 100. That's fine. Just add equal sign. That's going to equal 100. And so the 100, that's the even number. And some people say, oh, maybe 0 is even number. That's fine. 0, I don't know. It's not neither even nor odd, but assume 0 is also even. Then we just add, start with 0. So then we should, have 0, 2. That's all the even numbers. Okay. Okay, that's that exercise. The answer is here. And let's move on to the new topic. So, a project, yes. Project use the for loops. Use a for loop. I think you probably, I think if you are, from your elementary school, you learn the math, mathematics, you try to memorize the multiplication table or chart, 1 times 1 equal to 1, 1 times 2 equal to 2, or 3 times 2, 4 equal to 12, that kind of multiplication table. And it's something like, oh, here, yeah, this. Remember that? Yeah, here's the one. Oh, that's one. This one, that's multiply. See the rows from 0 to 12, whatever, and then the columns. That's also from 0, 1. That's the top, and the right, left side, and then and all the inside is going to be the result of the multiplication. The rows times the column, like row number 3 times column number 3, that's 9. Yeah, that's fine. How about 6 times 7? Okay, that's 42. So that's a chart I'm talking about. Yeah, if you search for multiplication table, Google it, and see all different kind of tables. Amazing, so many of them. That's all fun. Now, with the for loop we just learned, I think this is very easy to implement a table like that. So it's not complicated at all. So let's move it back here. So we just simplify none of that colored table. See, this is a row time column means this is the row numbers, row numbers, and this is the column numbers. 0 to 12, and here's also 0 to 12. I just my Shrink a little bit, then yeah, see, we see that table. It's hard to see, so let me zoom in again. You just need to remember that, you know, we have 12 rows also. Oh, actually not exactly. If we include the 0, that's 13 columns and then 13 rows. It's okay. You got the idea. So eventually we want to say, you know, 6 times 3, that's 18. 9 times 7, that's 63, something like that. Let's see if we can, you know, print a table like that with the for loop we just learned. Okay. Now, please think about if I ask you to do it, see how you know, what steps you can come up with. Okay, loops, I'm just going to use this thing here. Let's see, to print this chart, we need to print the row by row because in the computer screen, you always print row and the next row and the next row. You cannot print column and then another column. No, you can only print row by row. Okay, so let's print the first row. Let's see how we can print the first row. We can do this. Let's see. We can just like give a name, give a variable. How about row? Let's say R times 6, of course. R times C, you know, row time, add a space. That's fine. And then that's tab. You know, the tab means we add the 7 spaces. Add a tab, or you can just like type a space. You know, 0, 2, 3. That's one way to do it. You know, 4, something like that. But you can see that this is tedious, right? Type everything out is kind of tedious. Print, yeah, print a row. Yeah, if we run the code, yes, we get a line, I think somewhere. Yes, we get a line, something like R times C. Oh, okay, fine. There's a 1. Add a few more just for demo the idea. So print a row is not that hard. C times RC is blah, blah. If we keep typing, you know, we can print all the way to 12. That's pretty much the first line. Okay. What I want to tell you is that instead of type of spaces, you could just type, remember that special character T, that means 7 spaces, or called a tab, the tab key on your keyboard, \T, oops, go back, yep, \T, /T, one more, \T. Okay, let's print. Okay, let's see. Print. Come on, print. Yes, now we can see, we can that. Look a little bit better, you know, spaces evenly, you know. That's one way to do it. Then you say, we don't want to type that long line. We can do actually, instead of type the whole thing, right? Let's do this. Now we have that thing there, right? We start the row with that. Let's say, how about, since we know the, you know, the number of loops on the number of numbers that we want to print, we can use a for loop. Int number from 0, the number less than 12, or include 12, actually, include 12. Let's do it 10 by 10, actually. Include 10 and add by 1. And it says, okay, so we got the number. then we can just add a number to, remember this plus equal, that's equivalent to row plus that, right? So we added the number to that row, so loop, and then we got a 0, 10, everything. But this is not good enough. Watch me. Now we got this row to print out, see what we get. Let's see, on time C, 0 to 10, that's fine, but there's no space. That's because we didn't add any space to it. So let's add a tab, 7 spaces. Add that, and add that. Now see what happens. Oh, there you go, see? That's exactly the first row we want to print out, okay? And to make it better, since the row in a row that's same variable, we just get rid of it. This is a kind of a review. What do we learn with the assignment operator? Do that. So that saves some, typing, save the row and the, that same. This is the same effect. Run it. See, exactly the same. Okay, now we got first row. Okay, how about the next row? What do we do with the next row? The next row, of course, the first one, that's not a multiplication. We just want to print the row number, all the number on that row. So it's not anything, multiply anything, it's just the row number. So what we want to do is, so we use the row print the first row. Now we can empty it, because otherwise, if we can add it to it, then you got the first row plus additional. Let's not do that. So I can show you. So now we need to loop through the different rows, right? From 0, 1 to 12. So we can do a for. How about row number 0 is less than 100 or 10. Add that. So that's going to loop through the rows. So this is, if we put a comment here, this is the row, right? This is the rows. Row can row as, the rows. And then we got the rows. Okay, fine. Let's print. Let's add the update the row by the row number. Or add no, the first row number. No, just nothing there. Just the row number. Just the row, right? Now if we print out the row, and let me make it smaller. Let me clear the screen. Okay. So we print the first row, that's here, that's from this loop. And then we start to print the next row. The first one in next row is 0. So 0, right? And then, well, why is it zeros? Why don't we see the numbers? Because the first one 0, that's fine. The next one, actually, we want to print the production of row and a column. So this 0 should be 0 times 0. This 0 should be 0 times 1. This 0 is 0 times 2, of course, 0 times 0, anything is always 0. So basically the first row here should all be 0. Now we see 0, fine, and then numbers, so that's not correct. So what we want to do is we want to add the row number to there. We want to loop through next one. Oh, we actually print all the row number here, 0 and a 10 here. So, but we don't want to print that. So we want to print the row first, and then we want to print the columns, the productions. So then we need the next loop for and column. We can call column. The column also from 0 to 1. So that's for this row, print this 0 first, and then loop through the 1 through 10. Okay, 0 through 10. So 0 that's equal to 10. Increase it by 1, and that's going to be a number. Delete that one. That's just the rows. So this is the columns. I don't know how I spell that. Did I spell that correctly? Columns. I think so. Okay, then we want the production. Let's see the multiplication of the row time column. That's what we want to print out. We want to print out, 0 times 0 or 1 times 0, 1 times 1, something like that. So that's the product. We want to print the product out. So for that row, we want to update the row by the product, right? And for each row, we need to print this out. If we wait to the end, now watch this. That something wrong here. Let me see. Oh yeah, sure. You have to. We'll use a thing. You have to use that. Or since we use M all the time in the loop, so normally you should declare the variable out in the outside. Now you can use it. Okay. Now let's see if we can run it. See, now we got all fine, got the productions, but all together. That's because we need to print each row. This is a multiple row. So let's print the move the print line to at each row outside the column, because we want to print row, not the column. So outside the column loop. Now see what happens. Well, that's better, but you can see that each row gets longer and longer. That thing and then, and also the header row is stuck there. That's because we didn't reset. For each row, we need to start the row empty. So row, other row empty. That empty the row, so we can start each row. This empty row there. And actually, we should start the row with the row number. The row number. That's going to be the row number there, and plus a tab. Oh, actually, that's fine. We can add a tab to the next thing, to the number here. Add a tab in front of the production of row and column. Now let's see what happens. Something wrong. I think the error is a local variable is not used. See this R here. That's it's a local to just to that. Then you cannot use it outside. So in order to use it outside, you have to move that thing out, make it kind of global outside this little parentheses. So to do that, you can use that. How about outside? And send to the column. So then if you declare that outside, then you cannot do that inside. Let's see if that works. Row number. Let me think. Internet. Oh, yeah. Do that. See, that's okay. Oh, that's better. Still there. Row plus. So why we print out the rows? Oh, no. See, that's the thing. Need to clean the screen. Here, now we see the result here. So 0, find times 0, 0. Where's the top row? Oh, yeah. So we need to print the header row. Okay. Now you can see that, when you do the real programming, it's not that straightforward. You have to do some experiment, move around. When the program gets longer, the code get messier and messier. So you have to focus and keep have a clear head. So this will do the header row, and this will do the real rows underneath the header row. Now let's run it. That's better, right? See, we have the header row and the column numbers and the result of the row time column. So let's say 7 by 2, 7 by 2, that's 14. And 9 times 3, 27. That's 3 here. 3 times 9 is 27. See, that's how we with the table. Okay. Yep. Maybe we can move that back. Maybe the error is not that the row. We can move that. I don't want to, tell you the wrong thing here. So let's see if that still works. Yeah, that's still okay. So the scope, we call it scope. In programming language, the scope of variable means if I declare a variable, where I can use it. So the scope is not limited to this thing. The scope is actually the whole loop. So even though it's declared inside the parentheses here, then you can still access here outside this block. I think the whole loop is the scope. So, but the M is different. If you declare M, because the M is not in the for line, and so you have to declare outside. Or actually, you don't have to. You can just say, every time you use M, you declare once. In the compiler, it treated M actually different M's, but that's the details. You don't worry about that now. So this one works as well. So every time you use it, you declare once. That's fine. Okay. Before we leave here, okay. I don't want to spend too much time here. If you say, 10 by 10 is not what I want 12 by 12, you just change the upper limit here, change the upper limit here. Then you should have that table like this one. So now is 12 by 12, something wrong. I think I did something wrong. It looks like, maybe it's debug. Oh, that's better. Yep. So that's 12 Still something wrong here. Let me see. Let's see, where's the problem? So that's 12, that's 12, that's 12. That's 12. Oh, okay, that's there. Oh, why the 10 and the 11 got no breaks? Let's see. 10 and 11 got no tab. I shouldn't. That's not what I want. Let me clear the screen one more time. That's better. That's just the display thing. So nothing to do with the program. Now it's okay. Yep, now it's okay. You can even change the number, different numbers. 14. 13 is not lucky. Let's try 14. And clear the screen. Run one more time. Hey, there you go. So that's 14 by 14, this multiplication tables. All right. So maybe you can show off this to your parents or to your younger brothers, sisters. Say, hey, I can print this math table with Java program. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Next one, projects. That's consider as a small project. So I call it a project one. The new things we're going to learn today actually is also loop related. Remember in the loops or switch statements, we saw break. So in the switch, at each case block, you need a break. The break basically, okay, stop here, stop, don't continue. So with a break, you can stop the, if this is running this line, you don't want to read the next line, so just break. That's the first use of break. And you can also use a break to stop a loop. Let's see what happened to this loop. We put a break here. The loops, okay, fine. We are done with the thing. We just get rid of everything, delete, paste in. See what happens. Now do a guess. See what we will see, okay? We break the for loop. Make a guess and see if your guess is correct. I'm going to run it now. Run it. Okay, if the loop is from 0 to 10, right? We expect to print 0 and 9, not 10, because that's less than. We want to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9, but we only print 0, 1, 2, 4. What happened to 5 and then numbers after? That's because they seem break. There's a check here says, okay, fine, you're printing I, but if I equal to 5, then break. Break means stop, no more. So that break the whole loop. That's called the break the for loop. So if you put that check there and add a break, then you only print the number before this check. And after the check, no more looping and then jump here. So that's why we only print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the break kind of 5. So that's a break a for loop. Then it also can break a while loop. Let's see what this loop does. While loop. Copy that in here. Paste. Okay, and make sure no questions. That's fine. Okay. Okay. Again, make a guess. See what we will print out. So there's integer here. If the integer there's a 10, print out. Keep increase, and say equal to 5 break. Let's see what happens. Oh, the same thing, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same thing, just like a break the for loop. So in the while loop, you print out thing and then check if the counter is equal to 5, then break. That means stop, no more looping back. The while loop is done. So they jump here. So they break the while loop. It's just same as break the for loop. Okay. What else? Oh no. So that's a break. So the break can be used in switch statement, in loop, in for loop, in while loop, and there's a continue. Okay, and this the opposite of break is a continue. Continue is to skip one iteration loop. What does that mean? Let me see. Instead of break, we use continue. That's wrong. Let me clear this screen. Okay, you print out a 0, all the way to 9. What happened? The 5 is missing. Like 3, 4, 6, 7. The 5 is missing. So what a continue does is, in this for loop, it print all the numbers and then suddenly check if the number is 5. It's 5. Say if it's 5, it doesn't do anything. And then they continue. The continue is, it doesn't continue to next line, like, okay, continue here, then that will print the 5 out. The continue is actually instead of continue to the next loop, next iteration, back to the, this is a for loop, is multiple iterations. So when the I is 5, a continue means back to the beginning. Escape all the lines after the continue. So that's why it doesn't print the 5 out. And then continue means go back. Okay, next is 6. If it's 6, then print out. So that's why the 0, 1, 2, 4, and the 5. Okay, continue to 6, 6 by the way. So that's to skip a value. So remember that they break the loop and stop everything after that. They continue, just skip one line, just skip this iteration. Okay, just skip this one and then do the all the numbers before and after. So that's the difference between break and continue. Let's say continue can continue in for loop and continue in while loop. Okay, so they probably the same effect in while loop. Let's just print that. I'll try it out. Run it. It's the exact same behavior. 0, 1, 2, 4, and then 6, 8. Okay, so yeah, it's just like the for loop. If you want to skip, okay, another number, that's fine. You can skip the number 7. So 7 is not printed. Okay. All right, let's break and continue. And we do have a few minutes. I'd like to introduce array because we have used array, but we haven't really talked about it. So the array actually, simply put it, is just a variable that contains multiple values of the same type, by the way. You cannot mix integer with string or character or float, something like that. If it says it's an array, then that's the type. The type is, start with the type, and then bracket, square bracket, pair just empty, just square bracket. And then the variable, and we'll of course with the space and the variable name, and then assign. And then the values are entered, with comma separated. If it's a string, then you have to double quote every value, and a comma, and the curly braces, and a semicolon, of course. Then for a integer array, it's just the int, that's a type, and a square bracket. Square bracket indicates is an array, it's an array name, and the value. Because the integer, then you don't need to double quote, it just enter as integer values, but the commas are required. So we still need a comma to separate them. So in this case, you have 12 values in this integer array and curly braces. Some more string type array example like a mouse. This one mouse is an integer, 1, 12, that's mouse. And then this mouse is a string, that means I want January, February, double quote, and so on. And I watch this, this is mouses, this is mouses, but the difference is this S is uppercase. So in Java is case sensitive. So they are different, okay? Even though they look the same, but the last letter is different. And you can have array of characters called char, a character, single characters. Remember characters you quote with a single quote, not double, because a double quote that's a string. So single quote A, B, C, D, that's letters. Okay, another string example is, or you can have flow. I didn't give you a flow, but it's okay, same idea. So weekdays, something like that. Right? Oh, by the way, when you initialize an array, the values don't have to be on the same line. What I mean is, if we put this thing here, yeah, I have a variable. You copy in there, that's fine. Or you can do actually this. You can do that thing, on the separate line. That's fine. That's totally fine. Or you can use even partially, some on the first line, some on the, grouped in the next lines, So either way, pretty flexible as long as all the required elements are there, the curly braces, comma there, equal sign, semicolon, then we are fine, okay? Let me just quickly show you how we can use it. I'm going to copy everything in. So we declare a bunch of variables, right? And then how can we access the elements, the individual values? And then remember the array elements can be accessed by the index number, which start with 0, start from 0. So the first element is 0, okay? Then the last element is the array length minus 1. Just remember that sometimes is actually is hard to remember. But remember the first one is 0 and the last one is the total number minus 1. So let's see, this one is 0, 1, 2. Even though the total number is 3, so the last one is 3 minus 1, that's 2. And for the weekdays, the last one is not 7, last one is 6. That's because the first one is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the months, the last one is 11, something like that. So what happened if we print for the cars 0, that should print the Gili, the first one. For the months, I print 3. 3 actually is a 4. Remember 3? 3 is actually 4 there. 4. Class 2, character 2. 2 means the last one, because the last one is 2. 1, 0, 1, 2, okay? Weekdays, 4. 4 is not 4 here. 4 actually is Fridays. Today is the 5th one. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is Friday. Now let's print it. See, that's exactly what we said. And okay, array length. How do we know how many arrays? We can print array length. Give me 1 more minute. We will finish. Okay, weekdays. There's a property. Remember, the array is not a primitive data type. Remember, at the very beginning or second class, or second lesson, we talk about the data types. We have primitive, non-primitive. The array is not primitive, and it has methods, it has properties, and the length has to be happens to be one of the properties, array property. So if we call the array name dot the property name, then the length we would print the string length. Strong run it. See, that's the length. Cars 4 months, 12 months, weekdays 7 days, something like that. And one more thing is, can we change the array value? Yes, you can. Just refer the elements by the index and then put a new value, assign a new value to it. We do that. We did everything PC. So we have a cars and the two, that's the Ford. Say, okay, I don't want Ford, I want to put a Buick there. Then just class 2, put a new value, give it a new value, that's it. We print out. So before we change, they say as element index 2 or that third element is Ford. After we change it, then it became Buick. Okay, then I think that's all. And no more class on next Friday because of Thanksgiving holiday, and see you in 2 weeks. All right. Have a good evening, everyone.